That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms to apply.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? How much should you take out and when? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Nolan Webster. Let's work together to make sure your finances meet your unique needs over the long haul. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Call me at 224-801-6107 to schedule an appointment. That's 224-801-6107. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Tough, reliable, and ready to work. You were born that way. Kubota is built that way. Our entire ag lineup, featuring versatile tractors and hay tools, powerful skid steer loaders, and the rugged Sidekick utility vehicle, is designed with the engine of a Kubota and the heart of a farmer. Visit KubotaUSA.com to find a dealer near you.
So my friends over at Pure Talk have been sending me customer feedback from ConsumerAffairs.com, where thousands of people rate and review the top wireless providers. Here, for instance, is a nice note from James in Raleigh, North Carolina, who writes, quote, "After hearing Mike Rowe's ad, we made the switch to Pure Talk, and we couldn't be happier. We went from spending $1,200 a year with T-Mobile to $420 with Pure Talk. Thanks, Mike. Switch today! Exclamation point. Pure Talk is saving James $820 a year. And because he literally wrote the words switch today in capital letters with an exclamation point, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this commercial to him. So folks, take it from James in Raleigh, North Carolina. Pure Talk can give you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on the same 5G service the big guys are overcharging you for. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. You'll also save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 to save an additional 50%. Thanks, James.
This hourly segment brought to you by Unleash Your Wealth with Raj Shah and Rick Borick this Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Learn more at scwealthadvisors.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, but more importantly, happy Election Day. Partner, I love your green vest and your festive scarf. It looks great.
So I'm wearing my St. Baldrick's scarf that I purchased at the Naperville Parade, and they raise money for to conquer kids' cancer. So,
well, good
yes.
for you. It looks great.
Sporting
So Election Day, we're here for you. We want to hear from you. Have you voted yet? Any long lines at the polls? Any problems with ballots? Any problems with election judges? Was your polling place open at 7 o'clock in the morning? And Jeanne, you said too, we want to hear from candidates, right?
Absolutely. This is a free radio time. Call in. Give us your last pitch. If you're a candidate, we want to hear from you. If you're a voter and want to pitch your candidate, we want to hear from you. All hour long, we're going to be taking your calls. That'll be our priority. We do have one interview scheduled, and that's it. But otherwise, we want to hear from you. I will tell you this. My husband's an election judge. So he got up at, 5 o'clock, had to get there in time, open up the poll at 6. And by the way, the election judge, I mean, it's kind of a grueling time. You're there for 13 hours, plus you show up early. Usually you show up the night before to help set up as well. And in the first 3 hours, they had only had 32. They had only had 32 voters walk in. So it's kind of boring right now. Primary's been pretty sleepy. Lots of time to vote, lots of time to make those final decisions and get in there and vote. And we have Pamela Denise Long on the line. Do you want to take her? She is a candidate for the U.S. Senate. We have been covering this race, and so we're going to go straight to the phone lines, and we'll talk with Pamela Denise Long. Welcome to the program. You're on with Amy and Jeanne.
Hey, Amy and Jeannie, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. So happy to be able to talk with you guys. As some folks know, I called yesterday, and as you acknowledged, you ran out of time on the show for me to be able to talk. So yeah, I'm calling from Edwardsville. Today I'm downstate. Wanted to accept the invitation to clarify a few things, so I'm going to do that, just launch right into it. So I've been a Republican since 2008, been consulting with the Trump campaign and really working a lot on immigration moderation, ending DEI, including the MIT debate that I led about that, and putting some meat on the bones of what Americans First policy looks like. I have been calling my party to lean into the leadership gap when it comes to the Black American community. One of the first articles I wrote for Newsweek was called "It's Time for Black America to Break Up with the Democratic Party." And Black Americans have leaned into it, many of whom have come over to the right because of my leadership there. I have the ability to see all Americans. I'm a country girl, live in the suburbs, and love the city and the access to it. So I don't think there's American walking this country that I can't see and find a way to solve their problems, and that's what I've tried to do. I want every American to feel engaged enough to vote, and so my campaign and my presence and my voice has been one of those things to bring more people over to the Republican Party and to conservative principles. And I'm hoping that people will show up at the polls today recognizing that.
Well, you had mentioned, we mentioned yesterday that you used to be, or you still are, for reparations.
Yeah, so reparations is the number one issue for Black Americans, according to a poll by the Congressional Black Caucus. What I have advocated for is any American to be able to hold the government accountable, because without that accountability, we're all kind of screwed. And that's why free speech and the right to hold anyone accountable is one of our first amendments. What I am proposing in my platform is to correct how we do minority spending, because right now anyone is considered a minority if they're not a straight white Christian male. And based upon economic projections, it could save us $24 trillion if we leaned into originalism, which is to redirect, by my proposal, half of minority spending back to the legacy Black Americans as descendants of the founding population that the country saw fit to set those funds aside for. I'm proposing that we sunset it. I'm proposing that we resolve the moral and economic issue that made those set-asides appropriate to begin with. And 8 out of 10 conservative Republicans that I talk to in the state of Illinois actually agree with their plan, or agree with that plan once they actually hear it, and stop listening to people who have their own emotional responses to the concept of reparation, because this is not reparations. I've told the community this is not reparations. The community, the descendant community, knows that it's not reparations.
Hey, Pamela, I appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate you taking on the fight. And I will tell you this, that you've won a lot of people over because you're very well spoken. I know you got the Peoria County endorsement. I know that when you showed up at our AM 560 WIND debate at Benedictine University in Lisle, that you impressed very many people, my brother included, and his wife. They're like, wow, she is impressive. I'm like, yeah, I understand. And I mean, I don't want to, I want to diminish on that. You're going to have your level of supporters. I get it. But I will say that I have been a Republican for a very, very long time. And then I got engaged in the politics of it, understanding how important it was to do that. And I have to be honest, though, here. I have looked at your voting record. You have no Republican primary voting record. And the last time that I can tell from our data, which I have access to, statewide data, the last time that you voted in a primary, you pulled a Democrat ballot in 2016. Now, I'm on the State Central Committee. You couldn't even be eligible for a State Central Committee position unless you had voted in the last 3 Republican primaries and had proof of that. And in fact, people who thought that they could be on the State Central Committee just said you're not eligible. I just wanted you to address this.
Let me address the question. I'm not applying for the State Central Committee. I'm running to be U.S. Senator. So my voting record also says that I'm a white woman, right? Which I'm not. I don't know if you noticed that.
I don't see that at all.
I have no recollection of voting in a Democrat primary, but let's assume that I did. One, Rush Limbaugh was encouraging Republicans to pick the Democrat that a Republican could be, kind of like what J.B. Pritzker did with Darren Bailey in the last gubernatorial race. And let's assume, right, even though I don't have a recollection of it, that I did vote Democrat. Donald Trump voted Democrat and also supported Kamala Harris by donating to her campaign. Does that mean that we don't embrace Donald Trump? The reality is I have been a Republican since 2008. The reality is that I've supported Republican policy. The reality is when you look at my record and platform on what I'm putting my voice out there for, it's about Americans first. It's about ending DEI. It's about uniting the nation.
Okay, how do you feel about schools and school choice?
I think that schools are a hot mess because we've tried to have teachers be magicians. And I think that school choice should be supported, but we also need to fund public schools because there are some parents who really don't have a choice.
Okay, and then, so I go to this again because according to our own voting data, you don't vote in these off-year elections where school board members are selected.
Okay. And so what do you want me to say?
I don't understand. If you're engaged in public policy and in the public policy debate, you have to be engaged in these local elections. They actually really do matter.
Didi,
but I appreciate it.
I know you feel that you have to be involved in everyone, but you have no idea what was going on in my life or family at the time. And I know this is a gotcha moment for you because you support Don Tracy, but the reality is I've accomplished more in the last several years than your chosen candidate has to end DEI, the president repeating my words on the stage, me waking up Black Americans to the impact of mass immigration. So, you can choose the record that you want, but the reality is my work is out there. And it's not just that I'm well-spoken or articulate. It's because the policies that I present make sense. And that's what people should be voting on. So,
and real quick, we get a text message. How are your feelings on abortion? That text message in question coming from 847.
Totally pro-life, pro-2A. The mass immigration thing is a debacle. We need to put Americans first. We need to implement the native-born labor sourcing plan that I was asked to come to D.C. to implement in 2024. If you want common sense, if you want to unite our nation and thus in our state, vote Long for Senate. Pamela Denise Long, punch number 4. Thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you taking that on. Okay, and we're going to go to Ron on the South Side. Ron, welcome to the program.
Good morning, ladies. Happy Election Day. First of all, I want to thank you all for having Don Tracy on, as you all did when you had Christian Maxwell on, and I respect you all's judgment and endorsement. So that made it very easy along with Ted. But I just have two observations. I hope this is not indication of the turnout. When I came up to my polling place, you usually have people out, handing out literature. No one. So I don't know if it's because of the weather. And then when I went in to vote, I was the only person in there. 9 a.m. So the last thing is when I turned in my ballot, the lady said, well, you left some races that you didn't vote for. I said, no, I knew I wanted to vote for it. I voted. So, but hey, look good. We have to get Ted in. I really think we have a good chance in the general. But I just want to share that with y'all, and thank you all for what you all do. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. We're going to take one more phone call before we go to break.
We've got some text messages too.
Okay, great. Okay, well, let's take Phil. Voting issues in Kane County. Phil, welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning. I went in at 6:30, and they notified me that I could still cast my ballot, come in later, but the issue was their machine that counts the ballots. So the way they have it set up, it's an electronic ballot system. It prints out a ballot, and it goes into a vote counter, and that machine was down. And then they told me it was county-wide. So I was just wondering if you heard anything about that.
No, you're the first one to report that in, but I appreciate it. And hopefully you've, I don't know if you've contacted.
Who should they contact?
They should contact the Republican GOP there and make sure that things are getting sorted out correctly.
Okay.
All right. Phil, thanks so much for the call. And Amy, you had some text messages before we go to break.
Applied for a mail-in ballot, ladies, and they said that they mailed it to me on March 2nd. I did not receive this. And I've had this happen to others that I know of. It seems suspicious. And it's Joe in Indian Head Park. But he's going to go in to vote. I texted him back, like, just go in. And, if you didn't get your mail-in ballot, you can go in today and vote. And you have until 7:00 tonight. Jeanne and Amy, Denise Long may have a future, but not now. How about running for a state rep seat?
I agree.
That you and I had talked about off camera before the show started. Like, start smaller. Start on your school board to make a difference, and then state rep, state senator. So people can get to know you and know your voting record.
Well, and have confidence that you are who you say you're going to be when the vote comes and the pressure is there. I mean, look, I've been so disappointed in so many people who have, I've bought into them, I've believed them, and then I've gone down there and I've just seen them vote for tax increases and other nonsense. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's not a pro-business vote. Like, what are you doing? So, no, I want to see candidates take stands for a lot longer than just showing up and deciding that the U.S. Senate is their first race out of the box. Don't believe it. Okay, we got to take a break because we got Ted Dabrowski coming up afterwards. Here we go.
And then
exposing the lies and the misinformation from the politicians and the media. This is The Real Story on AM 560. The Answer.
Hello, can I have your attention, please? My name is Hugh McKenzie, and I'm a devout listener of The Answer. They have partnered with Food for the Poor consistently for the last few years. In the past, I've always wanted to participate, but unfortunately never had the extra cash at the end of the year to do so. But last weekend, I received the mail, and there was a bonus check for $2,500 from Mack Truck for selling commercial vehicles. I decided that I was all in. As I mentioned, I sell commercial vehicles. Everything from Mack, Volvo, Hino, Isuzu, new and used. I've been selling for over 30 years in the Chicagoland market. Call me at 630-918-9534 or check me out on the web. Google my name, Hugh McKenzie, and Hugh is spelled H-U-G-H, McKenzie is spelled M-C-K-E-N-T-Y. All right, thank you very much for your time.
To contact Hugh McKenzie, search Hugh McKenzie on LinkedIn or call 630-918-9534. That's 630-918-9534.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, Jeannie, I love Election Day. I get up so early and get so excited, even though I early voted for the first time ever. I still just keep an eye on this day and just sit there by the TV and watch the returns. And I'm going to sit there listening to AM 560 and watching Twitter and just making sure, see how this thing is resolved.
You know what? It is a big day. It's a big day for Ted Dabrowski. And before we get him on, I want to play my Reveille from this morning. Take a listen.
It's Reveille. Public policy matters. Just ask anyone who has escaped communism, or Ken Griffin, who moved to Miami after decades of living in Chicago, or the Bears, who are thinking of going to Indiana. There's real competition happening right now among states. 9 states are cutting individual taxes this year. Florida is looking at doing away with property taxes. Internationally, we see the same thing. There's no better example of what the free market can do than what Poland has done over the last 20 years under the right policy mix. The Associated Press noted in their feature article on Poland's economic rise that a generation ago, Poland rationed sugar and flour while its citizens were paid 1/10 what West Germans earned. Today, the country has the world's 20th largest economy. Poland's economy has grown an average of 3.8% a year since joining the EU in 2004. Beating the European average of 1.8%. Policy mattered. Marcin Piakowski of Warsaw's Kosminski University commented for the AP, one of the most important factors was rapidly building a strong institutional framework for business. That included independent courts, an anti-monopoly agency to ensure fair competition, and strong regulation to keep troubled banks from choking off credit. As a result, the economy wasn't hijacked by corrupt practices and oligarchs, as happened elsewhere in the post-communist world. Politicians make the policy, so elections have consequences. Today is primary election day in Illinois. Republican voters should follow the Buckley rule and select the most conservative candidate that can win in the general election. In the Republican governor race, that person is Ted Dabrowski. From 1998 to 2007, Ted was in Poland, helping turn the country into the powerhouse it is today. Let's elect him to do the same for Illinois. I'm Jeanne Ives. Listen to The Real Story Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
All right, and Ted joins us right now. Ted, thanks so much for coming on. We've only got like a short time, so I'm just going to give you the floor. Tell us about what Poland says about what we can do in Illinois.
Oh, yeah, I was so lucky to work there, and thanks for having me on. I was so lucky to work in Poland for 9 years, from 1998 to 2007, and I really got to experience that whole transition. I got to be part of, and I played my small part, but a good part in it, of transitioning that country from all the destruction they had, and from communism, socialism, and their institutions were destroyed. And now they're just an amazing, amazing country with great growth, and one of the great stories of the world. And that kind of gives me the inspiration when people say Illinois can't be fixed. I'm like, no way. Of course it can be fixed. If Poland can go from what it went through and just one generation later be where it is, we can do the same thing for Illinois. And that's why I get excited. This is an amazing place. It's got all of its great assets still intact. It's just got a horrific government that's taken over the institutions. It's taken over culture. It's crazy where we are right now. And I've been on the campaign trail saying we should be one of the best states in the country, not a bottom 5 state that Pritzker and Democrats have done. They've destroyed this amazing place to the point where the Bears want to leave. So I'm optimistic that we have a real shot at fixing Illinois, turning it around, and just making it a place that thrives for families, for businesses, for everybody.
And I know you've been focusing a lot in the suburbs, and I was just wondering, why are you the one who can beat Pritzker? Tell us.
Well, I think we're the ones that can build a coalition. I supported Darren Bailey last time, but he got destroyed up here in the suburbs. He lost by 35 points. And to beat Pritzker, you've got to do really well in the suburbs. You've got to be able to build a coalition. And I've just talked about the Polish experience I had. It's not just my business experience or my policy experience. It's that I'm half Latino and half Polish, and I can go out and build those get those groups into our coalition to beat Pritzker. So I'm I think uniquely qualified based on my experience and just being a son of immigrants. We can put together something that's great and can topple Pritzker out of this role that he's assumed, taking over Illinois and making a mess of it.
I love the fight in you, and I love that you speak fluent Spanish. People need to know that, and that you've also spent the past 15 years studying Illinois problems and proposing solutions. You want tax reform. You want to work toward a property tax cap like Indiana has, education reform, school choice, and safety. I mean, we have to, and you featured this beautifully in your campaign ads, we have to end sanctuary states and the Safety Act too.
Right. We have to. I mean, it's almost, I've said on the campaign trail jokingly, but seriously, the new platform for me is just to do the exact opposite of Pritzker, right? So he likes the act, get rid of it. He wants sanctuary city, sanctuary state, get rid of it. He opposes school choice. I want it. He wants higher taxes. I want lower taxes. I mean, I could go on and on and on. The guy does the exact opposite of what Illinois needs. So I'm excited to do that. And I think the other big thing is I've been on record for more than 15 years on what I stand for. And I heard you guys talking earlier about people who just show up. I've had to defend my positions for a long time, and it's what's helped me, hone in on exactly what we need to do. So on day one, I know what to do to help fix Illinois.
So you went and voted this morning, I saw, and the news covered it. So how do you feel?
I feel great. I love everything we've done. We've surged in the last month and a half. We've seen the other campaigns try to do stuff, but I think we've done the best, and I'm excited. I'm ready to pull out this win and take on Pritzker.
That's great. Well, we'll be back with more of your calls. Candidates or voters, call in 312-642-5600.
And we're going to cover the real story about walking back an endorsement. And Jeannie, you were the hot topic last night on WGN's political show.
Oh, do tell.
I will. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
Alex Marlowe does see a legit scandal.
I'm kind of amazed by this scandal that has rocked the Department of Homeland Security. Kristi Noem is out. I saw this. I was aware of it, but I have to admit, and this is a big admission, I did not do a deep dive on it. And I have in the last 24 hours, and it is shocking. It is a legitimate scandal.
The Alex Marlowe Show. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
News. I'm Gianna Gelosi. A top Trump administration official resigns over Operation Epic Fury.
Joe Kent resigns as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, writing in a statement, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." He goes on to write, "As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people."
Fox's Chris Foster. Meantime, Israel says it took out 2 high-ranking Iranian officials.
The Israelis say they took out Ali Larijani, the de facto leader of Iran, and Gholam Reza Soleimani, the man responsible for ordering the crackdown on protesters earlier this year, was also taken out.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon will be very cold with some sunshine peeking through. The high will reach 25 degrees. Tonight, expect overcast skies and cold temperatures. Snow showers will come and go late with accumulation totaling a coating to an inch. Be cautious as roads may become slippery. The low will be around 22 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
I spent years in the Marine Corps learning discipline, attention to detail, and how to do the job right. I'm Jim Melchert, and these standards stayed with me when I founded Garage Store here in Chicagoland. Your garage is probably the most neglected part of the house. Cracked floors, clutter everywhere, and a lot of wasted space. Garage Store provides solutions for that. Built for Chicago weather, our beautiful, durable floor coatings can be installed in just 2 days. We also install heavy-duty cabinets, overhead storage, even vehicle lifts. From floor to ceiling, your garage will be transformed into a space you'll be proud of and a space your friends will envy. Plus, our in-house, professional, respectful crew delivers timely installs. See why thousands of Chicagoans are transforming their garages with Garage Store.
Schedule your free in-home garage makeover estimate today. Call 847-428-8862 or visit garage-store.com. That's garage-store.com. Garage Store, built on service, driven by quality.
Well, speaking of garages, I love my garage floor because of level 10 coatings. It looked horrible. It was cracked, covered in salt. different problems that were going on, and I thought there's no way that they can do it, but they did. I got a great fix for you so you can start enjoying your garage this spring just like I did. It's a permanent new solution. Contact our good friends at Level 10 Coatings. Level 10 brought my garage from that dirty, gross floor that I just mentioned to showroom shiny in just one day. Literally, I went to work, I came home, and it was done. And so many people are worried, well, I'm going to have to clear out my garage for them to do it. But guess what? They'll do it for you. And then guess what? They'll put the stuff back. My husband and I love it, a shiny new gleaming garage floor. Level 10 Coatings can do the same for you. A quick and easy fix, permanent durable solution, guaranteed to never chip or peel. And mention me, Amy, for $500 off. Get it done now, folks, so you can enjoy your garage this spring and summer. It's not an epoxy job, though. It's better. Level 10 uses polyurea, which is a superior product to epoxy. One day and they're done. Schedule your free quote today and mention me to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10coatings.com, level10coatings.com, or call 855-510-2628. Again, that's 855-510-2628. Staff are local and ready to answer questions. And the people that come to your house, they're not subcontractors. They work for the company and they get the job done right. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Anthony and John here from Bionic Auto Parts, proud clients of Signature Bank. We deliver high-quality, recycled, and remanufactured auto parts to Chicago and Milwaukee. Our mission is simple: provide parts safely, reliably, with great customer satisfaction.
We process over 350 vehicles a month. With big banks, everything took forever. Layers of approvals and endless delays. At Signature Bank, one call got it done. Whether it's lending, deposits, or treasury management, they deliver fast. Signature Bank made us feel like family. That's a partnership we deeply appreciate.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman. Listen Saturday mornings at 8. Learn more at willsave.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, welcome back to The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson, taking your phone calls and text messages all morning long. 312-642-5600. Jeannie, from the 312 area code, is there only, or how many Republican candidates are there for Congress in the 7th District?
I only know of 2.
Okay, and which one do you support?
Patricia Easley.
Okay. And then they're asking about the 11th Congressional District.
I support Jeff Walter in that one.
Okay. All right. And then the 5th Congressional District, that's Mike Quigley's old seat. Of course, he's running again, but I don't know why, because he's going to be running for mayor. We all know it on the streets that he's going to eventually leave that seat to run for mayor, possibly.
Isn't that your district, Amy?
That's my district, and I voted for Hansen because he made the effort to call into this program and give his final arguments and his closing arguments, I should say, on why we should vote for him. So keep them coming, 312-642-5600.
So we have a caller, John, from Evanston, about Jeannie Evans. But before we get to that call, should we tell people what's going on about that race? Hold on, John.
Listen, John, Jeannie, you're the cat's meow. You were all over WGN's political show with Tamar Bradley. And actually, they were saying that Jeannie Evans is moving up in the polls because people think that she's you, Jeannie Ives.
I'll play that clip.
To this.
On the GOP side, Don Tracy, the establishment knows him. There's an attorney making a splash, Jeannie Evans. Some people might get it confused and think she's Jeannie Ives, which might be helping her.
I thought she was Jeannie Ives, Jeannie Evans. What's the difference?
Well, there's a big difference. This is an attorney from Chicago.
Don Tracy should win this race. Jeannie Evans has buttoned up closely to Darren Bailey in the last couple of weeks. It could be a shocker loss for Tracy, and if it is, it would be incredibly embarrassing. I think there are a lot of Republicans on sort of the normie side. I think Tracy would be the one that could be the most respectable Republican candidate in a futile effort in November.
That was Mays Jackson, who thought that Jeannie was Jeannie Ives. And then from far away, the picture that they put up, because you both have short blonde hair, it's feasible, but the Republican commentator would have none of that. And he just kept going on just to, but he should have clarified it. Like, hey, this is serious, guys. This is, nothing to joke around about.
I'm not going to name names, but a friend of mine said that she was at a family party and her sister's like, I voted for Jeannie. And she thought it was me. I was like, that's why I put out a post yesterday on my Facebook saying, if you're voting for Jeannie Evans because you think it's me, it's not. I'm not running. I'm not on the ballot, and I'm supporting Don Tracy. I just wanted to set the record straight. So, all right. Okay. Hey, let's take this quick call from John in Evanston, and then I want to get to Jason Plummer, who's also on the line. First of all, John from Evanston, welcome.
Good morning, ladies. Just an easy question. I just thought Jeannie Evans would match up better against Raja. And that's why I supported her. And I thought, Tracy's nothing personal, but he's just kind of old. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think that's going to be a difficult race to win. While a lot of people think that Raj is going to make it, it could be Juliana Stratton. I actually think that you can make an argument that essentially you just need to paint the Democrat as the Democrat and paint the Republican as the Republican. And, Jeannie Evans presents well, but let's face it. She pulled a Democrat ballot in 2020. She pulled a Republican ballot in 2022. She didn't pull any primary ballot in 2024. She's come out of nowhere because she sees an opportunity because this is an open seat. And I like people who have been in the fight before there's all of a sudden an open seat and they think that they can take it. And the first thing that they tell you is that they're a Harvard grad from law school. Like, I'm not impressed. I want people who have been in the fight that I trust to do the right thing when they're elected, because I've been burned way too many times. And that's why I support Don Tracy, because I know if we get him elected, that he will do the right thing when he's a U.S. Senator, and that I can reach out and touch him and talk to him, and he won't be bamboozled by a bunch of lobbyists because he will have stood strong already. So that's my opinion.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to go straight to Jason Plummer, Amy, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's
okay. Great. Let's talk to Jason. Jason, welcome to the program. It's State Senator Jason Plummer, and he sits down there in Metro East. And Jason, we're very curious about how you feel about the races and what you want to tell our audience.
Hey, Jeannie, thanks for having me on. Great to talk with you. Obviously, representing a little bit of a different part of the state, but suburban St. Louis is not too dissimilar to suburban Chicago. We've got a lot of good races down here. As you know, on the gubernatorial side, I'm a strong supporter of Ted Dabrowski. Illinois is a big state. It's geographically diverse. It's economically diverse. It's demographically diverse. And we've got to run a candidate who can reach all of those communities and cover the entire state to be competitive with J.B. Pritzker. And I know Ted can do that. I know Ted is the candidate that J.B. Pritzker fears on the Republican side. So hopefully Ted can pull it out tonight. We've got a lot of local races down here in Madison County and some of the surrounding counties, but I'm not sure if your audience cares much about those races.
Well, I will say that, we do get listeners from around the state. So if you want to give a shout out to some folks down there that you're supporting, that would be perfectly acceptable.
Well, I think, the most important race probably in Madison County is our county clerk race. We've got Linda Andreas running. She's the incumbent. She won that race 4 years ago. She's done a great job. There's a faction of folks that are just unhappy with everybody, and they're going after her in a pretty slanderous way. I think it's unfortunate. So I hope Linda pulls that race out. I think she will. And then we've got, quite a few primaries in some of the surrounding counties as well. I've reached into a lot of those counties and some of the some of the treasurers' races, some of the clerks' races to try to help those folks out. But, as far as the campaign goes, I'm curious to see what turnout looks like. I'm curious to see what the early vote numbers look like. This election is too important after everything the governor has done to the state of Illinois. we've got to make sure that we come out of this primary united, and that we're kind of ready to take on Governor Pritzker. We know it's an uphill battle, but with his policies, we know that it's a winnable race.
Well, Jason, how is real quickly? How is Darren Bailey being received down there? I mean, do you guys know that he didn't go to any debates up here, anything north of I-80, and he's acting, well, in my opinion, acting arrogant, as if he, that he already won.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know Darren well. I served with him briefly in the state Senate. He's actually a constituent of mine. I'm for Ted Dabrowski. I served with Darren. I know Darren. I'm for Ted Dabrowski. I think that says a lot. The reality is, I think we need candidates that have humility, and I think we need candidates that are workhorses, not show horses. And I got on board with Ted early because I know Ted is a thorough guy. He knows the issues, and he's an extremely hard worker that can reach a lot of communities in Illinois. Just taking a step back from that race, just talking in general, I've really seen this era, and I think it's largely driven by social media. The last, let's say, 6 or 8 years, we have a lot of people that want to run for office, but when they get into that office, you don't see them moving the ball down the field. You don't see them enacting conservative public policy. You don't see them reaching back and helping other people get elected to office. And if we're going to be successful in Illinois, if we're going to change the public policy direction of the state, we need to build strong benches. We need to work together. And we need folks that don't care about who gets the credit. They just keep moving the ball down the field. So, a lot of people down here know the name Bailey because J.B. Pritzker spent so much money building up Darren's name because that's who J.B. wants to run against. But I think those folks that are engaged and see what's happening on a day-to-day basis know that there's other good candidates, and a lot of them are lining up behind Ted.
All right. Jason, thanks so much. Would love to have you back on to talk about some important policy discussions that are going on in Springfield. And I especially want to talk to you about what's been happening in the Department of Corrections, since you know a lot about that and the Prisoner Review Board. So if you don't mind, I'm going to call you and have you back on. And I expect you to say yes.
Happy to be on anytime, Jeannie. It's always good to talk to you, and thank you for what you're doing.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's continue with the phone lines. We've got Stephanie Trussell on. Stephanie, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you, ladies, so much. Yes, this is Election Day. My very first customer was a woman that I didn't know, and she leaned in and said to me, I voted today. So this is a great day. It's cold, but at least it's clear, and I'm excited about the candidates that we have here in DuPage County, and we need to turn out to show the Democrats that we're ready to make DuPage County, we change it back to DuPage instead of Blue Page. And I got to tell you, Jeannie, you and Dan have done such a great job. We're holding your head up high with all the attacks that have been coming from a certain campaign. And anyone who used to be on one campaign and decided to change their minds this cycle were subject to attacks. And that was unfortunate. Tomorrow's the Unity Breakfast Brunch, and we'll see who shows up. And if they're going to really live up to whoever wins, we got to stand behind them. It's just unfortunate. It breaks my heart because as Republicans, we're our family. We shouldn't be attacking each other like what's been happening. Some of the surrogates have just gone above and beyond to be extra cruel, and we need to stick to the issues because our true enemy are the people that are rubber stamping what J.B. Pritzker is doing. I don't have a primary, so tonight I'll know which one of the ladies on the Democrat side I will be facing. So tomorrow I'm hitting the ground running. I'm having my first meet and greet at the Helen Plum Library in Lombard from 5 to 7. So I hope everybody that wants to meet me and come out and find out what I'm about. Tomorrow's the first day. I'm actually doing 3, one in Glen Ellyn, one in Lisle. So you can find that on my website and on my social media pages.
Again, Stephanie, I really appreciate you. And Boss Dogs, which you and your husband owns in Lisle, is an awesome hot dog place. I highly recommend it. I'm going to give a shout out for that. But Stephanie, you were Darren Bailey's running mate just 4 years ago. And you did a fantastic job. I recommended you to Darren, by the way. And, and I'm so happy that you have not given up. You're still in the fight, and now you're running for state rep in the 42nd district, which actually used to be the number that I held. So whatever.
Right.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. You and a couple people were supporting me. That was a journey, Jeannie, that I'm so appreciative that I had an opportunity to visit 102 counties. It prepared me for what I'm doing now. And what also I want to announce to your listeners that on Sunday I will be joining the AM 560 family. I'm happy to take over one of the hours that you built up a great audience from 7 to 8. And so I cannot wait to talk to all the listeners and also have candidates on that maybe you don't know, especially some of the people that I now call friends that are running in DuPage County. I want to have people on like Kevin Coyne, Jeff Castle, to let people know why we need PCs, what's this position and what we're doing. And basically just think about the midterms and what we need to do to save the great state of Illinois.
And Stephanie, what's the name of the show?
It's the Stephanie Trussell Show. Everybody's so kind and so welcoming. I cannot wait to be part of your team, your family. Everybody, I love and respect all of you guys. Anybody has a question for me, why do you like Dan? Why do you like Amy? Why do you like Jeannie and John? And don't even get me started about Sean. We go way back when he was just a caller from Sean from Elmwood Park. So I'm happy to be part of this family. You guys are amazing, and I just want to continue in what you built on Sunday nights, Jeannie. People can call in and get to know me, and I can't wait.
That's terrific. Awesome. All right. Thanks a lot, Stephanie. Appreciate you. Do you want to tell us who you're voting for governor?
Well, at this point, I got to be fearless like everyone else. There's no way I could vote for anybody but Ted Dabrowski. I mean, I saw what you did at a meeting. You said, Jim Mendrick, I love you, I like you, but I like Ted. I've known Ted since I had my little radio show, and I've been listening to him forever. I trust him. He's brilliant. I know that he has what we need to face J.B. Pritzker and to win. So I'm all in for Ted Dabrowski. Nobody really asked me. You're the first person to ask me on this level. So, yes, of course I'm with Ted Dabrowski.
All right. Thanks a lot, Stephanie.
Awesome.
Really appreciate you.
My pleasure.
We got great. Good luck. And we got some, I'll be sure to be listening on Sunday. That's for sure. Lots of text messages pouring in. My brother's a retired police officer. He's now voting for Ted Dabrowski. Ladies, who should I vote for state treasurer? Max Solomon. He's a write-in candidate, but you have to spell his last name correctly. Solomon. Max Solomon.
O-N at the end.
O-N.
Yep.
Solomon. I didn't win my spelling bee, obviously.
No, you did fine. I just wanted to emphasize that it's an O at the end. Okay, do you want to take a couple more for calls before we break?
Yeah, let's do that. And then we have to get to the U.S. Senate.
Yes, we do.
On the Democrat side, because an endorsement returned, which is very rare.
It's a huge deal. Okay, we'll take Art in the for about the 9th congressional. Art, you're on with Jeannie and Amy.
Hi, how you doing, Jeannie and Amy? And my condolences to you, Jeannie, regarding the loss of your cousin's son.
Thank you.
And yeah, I seen video about a black young man who died on the C-135. Just seen one story of a young black man. It's really sad.
It's all sad.
I just want to mention about Rosie Cleveland. She's running for 9th congressional district, and I believe she was on John Anthony's program on your station.
John's done a good job. He's done a good job putting candidates on. Sorry, go ahead, Art.
Oh, she sounds like she's a real Christian person, and I don't know much about her, but from what I understood, she was saying she sounds like she's a real Christian person, and it might be, of course, it's a long shot for her to win a 9th district, but, God can do a miracle, so.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the call, Art. Thanks so much. Yeah, it is a long shot, but we can't give up hope because the Democrat 9th congressional candidates are out of their mind. Dan Biss and Kat Abudugai. I can't even pronounce her name still.
You did a better job than I would do.
Anyway, thanks a lot, Art. Appreciate that. Rose has a different idea, though, about that. Rose, you're on with Jeannie and Amy. Candidates in the 9th are lame, is what ours says here. What do you say, you?
Yeah, well, I'm part of that gerrymandered part of Buffalo Grove, and so when we feel like the Republicans aren't getting enough attention, but I see that none of the candidates are endorsed by anybody, and I feel like they're all lame to me. And I feel like, do I not vote or should I just pick one?
I mean, I don't know. I guess
that's a hard one.
That's a hard one. It's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's a tough race anyway because of it's being gerrymandered. But I appreciate you being concerned about who you do vote for because you don't want to vote for an idiot either, even if they're Republican.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Amy.
All right, coming up on the real story.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for your phone call, and keep them coming. Coming up, an about face from the Jackson family. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
Make your voice heard. Call or text The Real Story at 312-642-5600.
Hello, can I have your attention, please? My name is Hugh McKenzie, and I'm a devout listener of The Answer. They have partnered with Food for the Poor consistently for the last few years. In the past, I've always wanted to participate, but unfortunately never had the extra cash at the end of the year to do so. But last weekend, I received the mail, and there was a bonus check for $2,500 from Mack Truck for selling commercial vehicles. I decided that I was all in. As I mentioned, I sell commercial vehicles. Everything from Mack, Volvo, Hino, Isuzu, new and used. I've been selling for over 30 years in the Chicagoland market. Call me at 630-918-9534 or check me out on the web. Google my name, Hugh McKenzie, and Hugh is spelled H-U-G-H, McKenzie is spelled M-C-K-E-N-T-Y. All right, thank you very much for your time.
To contact Hugh McKenzie, search Hugh McKenzie on LinkedIn or call 630-918-9534. That's 630-918-9534.
If you're nearing retirement, stop what you're doing and listen, because what's unfolding right now could hit your 401k or IRA harder than anything we've seen in years. Military escalation across the Middle East, a tariff war spilling into the courts, the U.S. dollar facing pressure that historically signals one thing: a flight to safety. Smart money has been moving into gold and silver, and it's not slowing down. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free gold investment kit, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's eye-opening book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Thousands of Americans have already rolled over a portion of their retirement savings into physical gold and silver, completely tax and penalty-free through Advantage Gold. The next news cycle won't wait for you. Get into position now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, welcome to the real story, because we have the real story about what's going on with the Jackson family. So Yusuf apparently, because he's in charge of Rainbow Push now, Jeannie, I don't know if people know that, but on Saturday when Juliana Stratton was there, he released a sample ballot that he said came from his father. And on that ballot, there was a check box for Juliana Stratton. And Juliana Stratton says that her girlfriends that were with her there encouraged her, like, hey, you should put this out on social media. Let's get you on MS Now and give an interview, because this is a big deal, because it is a big deal. But the other siblings were not happy because they said their father would never choose one black woman over another in the same race. So here's Juliana kind of, eating crow a little bit yesterday outside a polling place.
Do we have that? Which one is it?
Actually, Illinois Primary 4, if you can play it from there, would be great. Thank you.
I was at Operation Rainbow Push Saturday, and some of the officials came up to me and said, you know what, the Reverend, before he passed, gave you his endorsement, and I was just thrilled to hear that.
And so Robin Kelly received a phone call yesterday from Mrs. Jackson, who, by the way, was her birthday, and she wanted her to know that the news was not true. So play Illinois Primary 5, please.
Mrs. Jackson did call me and apologize. And I told her she definitely didn't have to apologize, that, they've had to mourn in public and they're going through what they're going through. We lost Reverend Jackson, but they lost a dad, a husband, so I told her she didn't have to do that, but she said yes, she did, and that he would have never done that.
I mean, and we've got a text message coming in from 847. I hope everybody in Illinois realizes that Juliana Stratton has very little integrity. And I believe, yeah.
Well, not to mention, I mean, she put together that commercial, that ad on radio only that included Barack Obama's comment about her from 10 years ago to make it appear as if Obama is on her side as well. I mean, who does that? And then her F Trump ad that elevated her name ID. Is that the type of person you want representing you? Is that the type of professionalism you expect from somebody who is in the United States Senate? I don't think so.
But she's in bed with Pritzker. I mean, Pritzker made her. He is funding her campaign. He was part of that F Trump ad too, because you can see him in there at the end. But also, he was in the ad too, the radio only ad that was very hard to find, by the way, and they have taken it down from certain stations because it's backfiring on them. He's behind her. So if he lies, she's lying, and he's in charge of the state, and she wants to represent us in Washington, D.C., no way.
Well, I got to just make this real quick comment here, though. If Juliana Stratton goes down, it is bad news for J.B. Pritzker.
Yep, because his name is all over that.
All right, that's all we have
thank you
time
so
for.
much.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Polls open until 7 o'clock tonight. And Jeannie, have fun voting because you're voting right now.
Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors.